What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we got something very exciting going on. Now for some of you that don't already know, I do a lot of modifications to a variety of different things. I'm always modifying my trucks, cars, SUVs, Jeeps, motorcycles, custom home repairs, whatever the case is, I'm always modifying something because that's just what I like to do. Now just a quick little backstory, I've been around motorcycles pretty much since I was a kid. My dad always rode motorcycles. I was always on the back of his bike growing up. And then as I got older, I got into different kinds of motorcycles. I started off with obviously dirt bikes, and I'll post a picture of one of my first dirt bikes right here. And then after a couple years of riding that dirt bike, I upgraded to the next dirt bike, which is right here. And then after a few years of doing that, I had a couple other quads and other things in between. I rode trikes before, way back in the day when they actually looked like this. Yes, I'm that old. But as I grew up, I got into different higher levels of dirt bikes. I had a really nice Polaris 550 XP quad right here. And then I got into street bikes. I did have a sport bike for a while. I believe it was a YZF 600, which I'll post a picture right here. That was a lot of fun. I love that bike. I did eventually step up into the cruiser style bikes like the Harley Davidson Dyna Y-Glide, which I'll post my first one right here. I love that bike. I had that for a while. Eventually got rid of that one. And then I got my last Dyna Y-Glide, which I believe was a 2010, which I'll post a picture right here. And that's the one I've had for the longest time. And then I not too long ago came across a really good deal and I upgraded again to a 2016 Harley Davidson Street Glide. So as you can see here, I've had a variety of different bikes. So I love bikes, period. It doesn't matter if it's a sport bike, a cruiser, a touring bike, a quad, dirt bike, doesn't matter. I love them all and I have a blast on them all. So what happened was I was riding my Street Glide a lot more because that's my current build right now and I love this bike. But my Y-Glide was just sitting in the corner on the battery tender, not going anywhere, and I wasn't riding it much anymore. So after discussing it with my wife a little bit, we decided that we were going to get rid of it. Now at that same time, my wife has been thinking about getting into riding motorcycles. She's just really not interested in working a clutch or learning how to drive on two wheels. She's just a little bit uncomfortable with all that. So after doing a lot of research and learning a little bit more about these different styles of bikes, I came across a really good deal that was just too good to pass up. So ultimately, we got rid of the Y-Glide and I picked up a new bike, but it is a little bit different and I'm really excited about bringing it to the channel because I'm going to be doing a lot of custom modifications on it this year as well. So what is the new bike that we're going to be bringing to the channel? Let's roll the clip. Okay, everybody, so there you go. What we picked up was a 2021 Can-Am Ryker 900. Now, this is not the Rally Edition. This is just more of the basic 900 edition. Now, again, I really did not enjoy driving it home that morning because it was about 5 to 10 degrees out and my hands were ice cold. I could barely even work the throttle. But let me tell you, it was a ton of fun. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a closer look. Okay, there we go. That right there is a 2021 Can-Am Ryker, and this is the 900. And this bike is a ton of fun. Now again, there are a few reasons of why I went with a bike like this. For one, I wanted something different. I've had motorcycles for many years, but you know what? I was missing something that was just a little bit more sporty. And being that my wife wanted something that I can introduce her onto the road in a more comfortable fashion, she liked this bike idea as well. So ultimately, we both decided this was going to be a really cool, fun addition to the family here. And I can't stress enough, I am really excited by this bike. It is a really cool looking bike. It is a ton of fun to drive. I will say this, it is super easy to drive. It's one of the simplest motorcycles I've ever driven. Now, some might call it a trike, but just for ease of conversation, I just call it a motorcycle because that's what it's titled as, a motorcycle. Now, there is a Can-Am Spyder out there, which is a bigger, more touring version of this. But in comparing this to the Harleys, I would consider this more of like the Dyna line of bikes because it's a little sportier. And then the Can-Am Spyder would be considered more of a touring bike because it's a little bigger, it's a little bit more comfortable, but it doesn't look as sporty. It's more for longer rides and touring. But the Ryker is more of the sport version of the Spider. It's a very sporty looking motorcycle. Now the Ryker comes in two different engine sizes. One will be the 600cc, one will be the 900cc. This particular bike here is the 900. And then there are two options, the standard Ryker or the Rally Edition. Now the Rally Edition is going to be an upgrade with a bunch of different changes. Some of the most noticeable are going to be premium wheels, better tires. You're going to have a different color of contrast in your body panels. You're going to have an upgraded adjustable suspension on the fly, which is really nice there. You're going to have adjustable shocks at the front wheels. The Rally Edition will also come with a custom luggage rack on the back here. So if you ever want to add a seat to it, or if you want to add storage racks, it already comes with the platform that you can build upon later. And it's going to come with a few other minor differences as well. But just keep in mind, when you have a standard Ryker like this, everything else is customizable. You can change out your shocks if you want to. You could change out your seat like the previous owner did here and added the passenger seat. You can upgrade your tires and wheels if you want to. Everything is customizable. So it just comes down to, do you really want all of those upgrades up front? Which if so, maybe the Rally Edition is a better way to go. But if you're like me and you like to customize everything yourself, starting with this Ryker might be the better way to go because it's a great starting platform, which allows you to customize everything specifically to your wants and needs as you're building the bike. But this bike here, it just looks awesome. It's a ton of fun to drive. It's extremely customizable, which I will be doing to this bike over this next year. But for those of you that just are not comfortable on two wheels, or maybe you happen to have maybe a disability that just makes it hard to ride on two wheels, this right here is going to be super easy for pretty much anybody to drive. Now, the regular Ryker does not come with the back seat. This whole back seat setup right here is an option, which the owner of this bike put it on, so it already came with the bike when I bought it. Now, if you do happen to go with the passenger seat setup, keep in mind, this is a very smart seat. I know that sounds weird, but it is, because here's why. Now, when you go with the passenger seat here, when you actually drop down these foot pegs like this, there's actually technology built into the foot peg on the left side that actually sends a signal to the computer of the engine to tell this bike that there is a passenger on this seat. And then the bike will automatically compensate to adjust the center of gravity that's now a little bit different because now you're riding a passenger. So when you don't have a passenger on the back seat, you want to make sure you have these folded up. Okay, because then that tells the bike that there's no passenger on the back seat. So remember, anytime you have these pegs folded down, it is telling the computer of the bike that there is a passenger on the seat and we'll be making adjustments. So you never want to drive the bike solo without a passenger with the pegs still hanging down. Always make sure you fold your pegs back up. To take the seat on and off is very simple. There's a button here that says push to lock. It's already in its lock position, but to unlock it underneath here, you're gonna have a little bit of a button. You just do that from underneath. It's like a pressure clip underneath. And then you basically just kind of give it a little bit of a pull, give it a little bit of a bonk on the back, and the whole seat pops right off. Okay, so what you're gonna do is after you pull this pin up, it's easier just to kind of give it a little bit of a bonk on the back of these rubber grips here and just kind of, and the seat pops right off. It's that easy. It's just held on by all these heavy duty clips here. And again, this whole system right here is all metal. I can tell you right now, it's a very, very sturdy bracket right here. And then once you put the seat back on, just like this, you line it up. And then I usually just kind of tuck it on and grab these little handles here. It's a lot easier with two hands. But once you get it pulled back in place, push your lock pin back down, it's locked in. So that's how easy the back seat is. Now, is it the most comfortable? Probably not. My wife sat on it. She said it's not bad, but it's not obviously as comfortable as, say, something like this. Okay, but it's not bad. Now, for some of you that want more comfort, they do make aftermarket seats that are available in different sizes, shapes, colors, and all kinds of different options. So again, this bike has plenty of options that are available to it, but right out of the gate, this is a great option if you ever do plan on riding with a passenger. Up here, very simple. This bike is fully automatic. It does not have a clutch. It does not really have any gears. Everything is automatic. There's no clutch lever over here. As you can see over here, there's no brake lever. And the main reason why is because it has one foot brake right there. This foot brake activates all three brakes at all three wheels. So you don't even have to worry about deciding which brake you're going to use, whether it be a front brake or a rear brake that's typically found on most motorcycles. It's real simple. There's literally just one brake. That easy. It does have your throttle right here. Okay, that's how you're going to make the bike move. It's just a throttle. You got your kill switch and on switch right here. You got your start button here. You have your whole instrument gauge right here, which we'll turn on here shortly, and I'll show you what that is. You have your lights right here, regular and high beams. You have your turn signals right here, left and right, and you have a horn. That's it. That's as simple as this bike really is. On the other side over here, you're going to have your emergency brake right here. So in the up position like that, your emergency brake is on. So as you can see here, the bike will not move. The emergency brake is locked on. Once you take it, drop it to the bottom like that, the bike will move. Okay? So that's how the emergency brake is. It doesn't matter if you're in forward or reverse. If you have the emergency brake taken off, the bike will be able to easily be pushed out of the way. So we'll put that back on for now. Down here is your main gear, where up front, when it's pushed all the way forward, that's forward. Pull it back, that's reverse. So again, it's that big of a difference. So you push it forward to go forward, you pull it back to go in reverse. That's it. So that's all you got to do. It's really, really simple. It does have the driver foot pegs here, which are customizable. So what you're going to do is lift up, and then they can slide back or forward, wherever your position works for you. And then what you do is just step on them, lock them down in place. Same thing with the handlebars. You flip this switch right here. The handlebars can shift towards you or away from you, whichever is more comfortable for you. Push the lock down, they're locked in place. You got your side mirrors here that are standard. You can move them around for best viewability. But again, there's modifications to all this stuff. If you want to change out your bars, your grips, your mirrors, there is so many custom modifications that is available for this bike, which is what really excites me because I love to customize vehicles. I cannot wait to start customizing this bike. There's decal kits, lighting kits, there's air intake kits, custom suspensions, custom wheels, custom everything. This bike is going to be a ton of fun. Up here is where you find your gas tank. You just kind of pull on that. Your gas tank lid is right here. Fill her up when you're done. Push that back in. Locks in place. Done. It's that simple. Now this bike from the factory is probably already set on its softest suspension, which means I'm going to have to go down in here and adjust this key right here because I do want to make sure this bike is a little bit more stiff, because if you see here and I push down, I mean, it's a little hard to do it with one hand, but when I sit on the bike, keep in mind, I'm 6'3", 270 pounds. The seat goes down just a little bit. And then when my wife gets on the back, it goes down a little bit further. We're not bottoming out on the back fender yet, but I do want to make sure that that seating position is a lot stiffer, because if we both get on this bike and we start hitting some really bumpy roads, there is a little bit more travel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tighten up that shock in the very near future here. I actually ordered a coil spring spanner wrench. It's coming in the mail. So whenever it comes in, I'll do a video on that. But it's very simple because this right here, this adjustment knob right here, is very hard to do with pretty much any other wrench. You could technically take a screwdriver and bang it with a hammer, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because you're just going to end up ruining it. But I'm going to have to really get this thing adjusted to get this suspension a little bit stiffer, but that'll be simple and easy. I'll do that in another video. Other than that, over here up front on the hood here, you just press down. It's a little pressure clip. Lift up. You actually have a little glove box here. You can put your phone, your wallet, keys, whatever it is you want. It's actually pretty spacious in here too. You can put a lot of stuff in there as well. Close that down. You come up under here. There's going to be a little prong here. You're just going to kind of pinch gently. Don't pinch it too much. It just lifts up. It's just a little piece of plastic. You're just going to reach here and lift up, and then the whole hood pops right off. There we go. I got that side. There we go. Okay, so there it is right there. So let me turn it over and I'll show you what it looks like. So what you're going to do is when you reach your finger up under the hood, you're just going to pretty much use your finger and move this tab out of the way, and it unlocks the hood from the front frame here. So it's very simple and easy. There's just basically 2 pinch clips, but you want to be careful not to really be aggressive with them because they are plastic and you can break them if you're just really squeezing the wrong one. You don't want to squeeze this one because this one here is not doing anything. You want to make sure you reach down and feel this one that's a little springy and just put a little bit of pressure on it and it pops right off. But that's how you get to like your fuses, your battery, your coolant, and everything else in terms of the front engine bay area here. So that's how you access that. Again, very simple and easy. Okay, so I just went ahead and put it back on. It's real simple. You attach the top clips at the top, drop it forward, lock it in the front. It just kind of pressure clips in place, and then your front hood is on. So that right there is pretty much the Ryker 900. It's a very, very simple and easy bike to drive. Now again, let me just get on it and show you here. Okay, I'm 6'3", 270 pounds. And I'm a tall person, I have a long reach, I have long legs. But as you can see here, sitting in my upright position, I have full extended arms right here with the bars all the way forward. So I have plenty of room there. And then with the foot pegs all the way forward, this is my seating position. So this is what a tall person at 6'3", 270 pounds looks like on a Can-Am Ryker. Again, I'm very comfortable. I have plenty of arm reach, plenty of mobility. I have plenty of leg room. Again, I'm very comfortable. And again, right now, my emergency brake is locked in, so I can't move the bike at all. But remember, the second you put that emergency brake off, I can move this bike. Very easy, okay? It's not hard to move. It doesn't matter if the gear is in forward or reverse. Once you take the emergency brake off, you can move this bike back and forth very easy. But again, that's how it works. It's very simple. Again, sometimes I will even use my foot to change the gear. I'll just take my toe up here, pull back, put it in reverse, or if I want to push it in forward, I kick it forward like that. So you can either do that with your foot if you're comfortable. You could also reach down. You just basically pull your leg out of the way, reach down, put it in reverse, reach down, push it in forward. Or if you happen to get like one of those aftermarket jockey shifters, it's a kit that actually mounts to the shifter that puts like a little ball shifter right here. So you can pretty much shift it right here so that you don't have to reach down or use your foot. But again, a lot of flexibility. As you can see here, I don't know if you paid attention to my mirrors just a little bit ago, but I was playing around my mirrors while filming this, and the mirrors were up here. All I did was unloosen these bolts here on the side, pulled the bolt out, turned the mirror all the way down facing forward, so that now my mirrors are down below my hands, and they're not as much in my field of view right here, because I didn't really like them when they were up here. I like them down here. So this works out a lot better. Very flexible, very spacious. And as you can see here, this is what I'm talking about. Watch the suspension when I sit down. You see how it goes down some? Which is fine. I'm pretty sure that the shock that's on here right now is set in the number 1 position. I believe there's 5 different settings that you can adjust the shock depending on how stiff you want that coil to be. So right now, level 1 is going to be the loosest suspension, the most travel. Number 5 is going to be the stiffest. So when I get that new part in this weekend, I'll film a separate video on how to adjust this spring. But I'll probably end up cranking the spring up to probably like a level 5. Get this nice and stiff so it's not going to bounce around so much. And that way when I have my wife on the back as a passenger, we're not going to be compressing that coil so much. Now it might be a little bit more stiff on bumps on the road, but I'd rather have a little bit more stiffer bumps on the road than have a lot of springy travel, because I don't want to bottom out either. But overall, it's very comfortable. I have plenty of room. It's a lot of fun. I really think this is a lot of fun. Very easy to steer. And again, I'm not even moving. And as you can see here, one hand, it's a little tougher with one hand. With one hand, I can turn like that. So again, 2 hands, very easy. But keep in mind, this isn't going to steer like a bike. You're not leaning the bike into your corners, but you're going to basically be turning, okay? Just like that. So again, very fun, very easy to drive, and I can't tell you how excited I am. But again, I love my Harleys. I've been riding Dyna Y glides and now this street glide for the better part of 10 to 15 years. I love the street bikes, but I did miss my sport bike, and I do miss riding quads. But since I don't have all the time to ride all these different machines, this bike here kind of fills the gap. It kind of lets me feel like I'm on a quad, but it has the zippy nimbleness as a sport bike. So this bike here to me makes me feel like I'm combining a sport bike and a quad at the same time, and it just feels cool. It's a fun, exciting motorcycle to ride. It's completely different. I can't explain it. It's just different. Now again, I'll probably be putting the new windshield on maybe this weekend to show you how that mounts. Having a windshield on a highway is going to come in really handy because again, when you're flying down a highway, which I was the other day, when you're going 70, 80 miles an hour, you have all that wind right here, like pretty much right at your chest. It kind of waves you around a little bit. I do think having a stiffer suspension is better for highway driving because if you're on a highway and you got those big tractor trailers flying past you, and it'll actually make your bike, rock a little bit because you can see here, I have a little bit of travel, maybe like a 1-inch side-to-side travel on an angle. When you start having those tractor trailers whizzing by you, it's gonna move you a little bit, but it's not bad. But again, it's very easy to stabilize the steering on a highway. Again, just hold on, have a nice firm grip, and just kind of keep your body planted and just go. These bikes are very zippy and fast, especially the 900. I can't speak on the 600 because I've never owned one and I've never driven one. But the 900 is very zippy and fast. I can easily keep up with the cars on the highway at 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, no problem. This thing has a lot of get up and go. But overall, guys, I'm telling you, these bikes are so much fun, and I can't wait till the weather gets better and I can get out on the road and really start having some fun with this. So again, when you're sitting on the bike, it's real simple. I always say up front, make sure your emergency brake is on, just for safety purposes. I would always make sure you get in the habit of using your emergency brake because this bike is not like a car with a manual shift that if you stick it in first gear, it ain't gonna go anywhere. It's already in gear. But as soon as you take that emergency brake off, it's already in the forward gear, it's still gonna move. So whenever you park your bike, you wanna make sure you put your safety brake on so that way it's not gonna move anywhere, okay? So just getting the hang of that. It's already in the forward run position there. Okay, so before we actually jump on the bike and turn it on and show you how the gauge works, there is a key that comes with this bike. It's basically an electronic key that you just plug into the side. It's very simple. It's a ball mount right here, but it's all electronic. So what happens is as soon as you put this key right on, this just goes over the ball like this. That's it. It moves around a little bit. That's okay. It just clips on there. Now they make custom key holders. I would even technically recommend getting a key holder that actually goes over this key that has like a tether that you could tether strap it to your bike just in case you happen to bump it off or whatever not. But it's not going anywhere. You really have to pull on it pretty good to actually get it to disengage. But you have to have this key on for the bike to start. And for some of you that are just a little bit uncomfortable with a larger 900cc engine, maybe you're just starting off, or maybe you're getting this for one of your kids or something like that, they actually sell an additional key. It's called a learning key. So this right here is the standard key, but you can get an additional, what they call a learning key, which I'll put a picture up here in the corner to show you what it looks like. It's basically a learning key that you use that key instead, and it lets you use the bike as you normally would in any of the modes like the eco or the sport mode and so forth, but it limits you to a max speed of 56 miles per hour. So again, when you're starting off on a bike like this that has the capabilities of going much faster, you do have an option to go with a learning key that does put a limiter on how fast you can go. And then once you or the person you're buying this bike for becomes more comfortable with the bike, then you can go ahead and start using the standard key, which does not have a top speed limiter on it. To start the bike, it's pretty simple. You're gonna put your foot on the brake over here. Okay, remember, here's your peg, that's your brake. Put your foot on the brake, flip this kill switch to on. So you're gonna press down on the kill switch, and then you're gonna tap this gray button. That's gonna wake up the bike and wake up your instrument panel. As soon as it wakes up, you're gonna take your throttle, push it forward just a very slight amount, reach over with your thumb, holding the gray button, the bike's gonna start. So let's go ahead and give it a try and I'll show you. So again, foot on the brake, kill switch down, hit the button, wakes it up. Once that sound goes away, tilt forward, you hear the beep. That's it. High beams are on, there we go. So that's how easy it is to start. Okay, so now the bike has started, it's in forward gear, but it's not gonna go anywhere because I have the safety brake on. It's an electronic ignition to where I can rev it, I'm not gonna go because the safety brake's on. Now once I release that safety brake and pull on the throttle, it's gonna go forward. Now on your instrument panel here, now obviously it's gonna tell you that you're in park. It's gonna show you what your RPM's on, your miles per hour, your coolant, your gas. I have my gas, it's a full tank of gas. This bottom button here, you're gonna hold that in. You could go into sport mode, hit it again, eco mode, eco off, sport mode. So the eco mode is gonna be more for gas savings. It's gonna maybe throttle down the engine a little bit so that you can't go as fast. It's gonna be just more of a safer, slower driving experience. You put it in sport mode, which it is sport, that means a lot of your traction control is gonna turn off. It's gonna be a faster, zippier, funner experience. So you can play around with it and see which way you like. But obviously, I like the sport mode, it's a lot funner. Other than that, that's it. You wanna adjust your mirrors, make sure you can see behind you, adjust your handlebars, forward or back, make sure you have a good grip, adjust your foot pegs down below, make sure they're in the right position. Again, I'm taller at 6'3". I actually have them pushed all the way forward. So let's do this. I'm gonna pull it out here in the driveway and pull it back in, but I'm gonna show you how it goes. So what you're gonna do, it's in forward, okay? We're gonna release this emergency brake here, push it down. Now we're ready to go. All we're gonna do is pull back on the throttle. Now be careful, you wanna gauge your throttle to see how fast and zippy it really is. Don't just crank on the throttle or you're gonna take off, because trust me, the 900 is very zippy and very fast. So let's go ahead. We're gonna basically, I'm gonna do this with one hand. Just like that. Okay? Let go, hit your brake. Now if I wanna go reverse, all I gotta do is reach down, put it in reverse, it does beep, hit your throttle. It does go a little slower in reverse though. So you're not gonna be able to go as fast in reverse. But then once you wanna go back and drive, you can reach down, push it with your hand, or push it with your foot. But now that it's back in drive, that's how simple it is. It's very, very easy. Now the kill switch is awesome because anytime you wanna shut off the bike, you're just gonna hit that kill switch, it shuts it off. Let me back up a little bit here. Okay, so as you can see here, our regular beams are on. If we want to put our high beams on, just turn that little switch right there forward, and it typically will tell you down here in the instrument panel that your high beam is on with the blue indicator light. Turn it off, that's just your regular beams. Your turn signals, press it to the left. Let's again put our emergency brake on. So I have the turn signal flashing to the left. As you can see, it's flashing here. It flashes there. You want to use your right turn signal, press it to the right. Right turn signal, turn signal. And then to shut them off, you're just going to come up here and press down in the middle of your switch. Here's your horn. Very simple, very easy to use. The bike is running, everything is good to go. It's not going anywhere because no one's pulling on the throttle and the emergency brake is on. Again, as long as you're in forward or reverse, it doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that you're using your safety brake and the bike will not move. They even have an aftermarket brake that puts a key right here. That's why there's like a little circle cut out. You can actually get an aftermarket safety brake that has a key that you can lock it so that nobody can mess around with it. But other than that, that right there is how simple and easy it is. So there you go. That right there is the 2021 Can-Am Ryker 900. Okay, everybody, so there you go. That right there was the introduction to the new bike build for 2022. It's a 2021 Can-Am Ryker 900, and I couldn't be happier. I think it's an awesome bike. I'm really excited to be modifying it and see what I can do to it this year because it is a fun, cool bike. But again, don't worry, there's still more modifications coming to the Street Glide. There's still more mountain bike builds coming. There's still more modifications coming to the truck, and there's still more home projects coming down the road. So stay tuned because there's going to be a lot of content coming this year. But that's it for today's video. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell because it definitely helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. So again, that's it for today's video. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I truly appreciate you all. Thank you for all of the support. And as always, see you in the next video.